Welcome to Haxby Shed. In my last video I mentioned that I'd got new microphones, and Garden Tractor Boy asked me a question about those, and I started to write an email and it all got too complicated, so I thought the easiest way was just to do kind of a viewer's question video. I know a lot of people won't be interested in this, but hey ho. Okay, so from the beginning I was using Sony video camcorders to do my recording, and I made an upgrade to buy the one that we're using now, the Sony AX43. It's a fantastic camcorder. It's got a gimbal built in. It's got an incredible zoom. I absolutely love it. And it's got built-in microphones, I think 3, and it can simulate surround sounds. But if you're not using that mode, it's stereo. And it's just too echoey in this room. It's wonderful for atmosphere in other places, but in this room it doesn't really work. So I decided to see if I could use a shotgun microphone, and I bought one of these quite cheaply. It helped, but it was still quite echoey. So I moved into the world of wireless microphones, and I bought a couple of, well, I bought a set, a Synco set. I'll zoom into these in a minute. I tell you what, I drop these all the time in here. So the Synco, I've probably used that for more than a year. I find it really good. I only paid £35. I don't know how quite I got it so cheaply. It was from eBay. But the problem with the Synco is it's an analog wireless signal, and you get quite a bit of background hiss. And if you're trying to adjust the volume up, you get that hissing coming through. And I've never been that happy with the quality of the audio on my videos. I mean, in the beginning, they really were bad. But even, until recently, I've never been that happy. But the other thing is, I would spend a lot of time working on the audio levels, because YouTube likes a quite high level of audio. And if your audio is too low, it won't boost it. Some things will, I think the Apple Music systems do, but many of the others, like Spotify and so on, I don't think they boost the audio if it's too low. Somebody might correct me. If you're in the business, you'll know. But they don't, certainly for YouTube. So if you get your audio too low, it's too low on the TV or whatever you're listening to. Actually, I found it not so bad on the phones, but on the PC and on the TV, it can be too low. So I was always bringing the audio level up to the limit, but then sometimes it was peaking and I was having to manually edit those down. So I wanted something to save me time, and I looked at a better wireless microphone system, which I bought just recently. So that's the one I referred to on the last video. And I bought the Rode Wireless ME. So this is it. It looks like the Synco. I'll show you in a second. Here's the box anyway. Now, a lot of people use the Rode Wireless Go 2, but it was too much for what I needed. First of all, it's quite expensive. One transmitter and one receiver is £200. But that's not that the ME is that much cheaper. But it includes a recorder internally, so it's got a memory card internally. And also it doesn't have a limiter. So one of the problems you have in a setup like this is a problem with dynamic range. So you could be talking quite quietly, and then suddenly you're talking quite loudly, or a machine comes on, and you can easily overload the recording. But the ME has a built-in limiter, and that shouldn't have happened. We'll find out later if it did happen. So I found that the Go 2 just had too much tech in it. The ME doesn't record internally, but it has that limiter. It also has a microphone on the transmitter and on the receiver, whereas the Synco and the Go 2 don't have that second microphone. Now you can buy them, I'm getting into too much detail now, but you can buy them with one transmitter and one receiver, or you can buy them with one transmitter and two, other way around, 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. See what I mean? Too much detail. After I tried this, I tried the Zoom recorder. This is a stereo recorder, and it's got a memory card in, and it's very good. It was expensive. It was about £80, that. I've used it a few times, but again, for the same reason, because it's stereo, I get quite a bit of echo in here. Now in the editor, I can convert from stereo to mono, so I can say take left channel and put that onto left and right, so it makes it mono. But the problem is, just to demonstrate, if I'm talking here, it's recording mostly on one side, and if I've got it here, it's mostly recording on the other. So if you try to take left and put it onto left and right, you can see what's going to happen. And then, so I think I've said that a single transmitter and receiver for a wireless Go is about £200. And for the ME, single transmitter and receiver is probably about £150. You could get it from Amazon probably for £125. But none of this is cheap. I mean, this was cheap, peanuts, you know, £15 or something. But beyond that, everything starts to get a bit expensive. But, okay, so this one, the Rode Wireless ME, did I say already? It's digital transmission, so it's encrypted digital transmission. So there should be no background hiss on this. This is what I'm using right now with this lapel mic. There should be no background hiss whatsoever. I can crank the volume up as much as I like and there's no background hiss, which is a huge improvement over the Synco, albeit these were a lot cheaper. Right, now let's talk about lapel microphones. You know, you think a microphone is a microphone. Well, it isn't, unfortunately. So first of all, the microphones have a connection on the end, and they're either tip ring sleeve, so that's like the old stereo kind of headset microphone, where you've got a screen, which is tip, and then a ring and a sleeve. So you've got 3 connections on the 3.5mm jack. And then comes along, you know, modern tech, and you get headsets with a microphone built in, let's say. So you need 4 connections, so that's tip, ring, sleeve, and the 2 are not compatible. Now you can buy a little adapter, but a lot of this professional audio stuff, let's call it that, is only tip, ring, sleeve. So without that adapter, they ain't going to work, which is, the adapter's peanuts, okay? But you need to know. The other thing is, if you've got a basic lapel mic like this one, it's not powered. It's not a condenser mic, which is a better quality mic. It's just a moving coil and magnet probably. And it doesn't need power, that's fine. If you buy a condenser mic, and so for example, I'll show you in a minute, but there's a condenser mic in there, okay? It's a cardioid. Cardioid refers to the volume, the pattern, the reception pattern. Like this is omnidirectional, this one's cardioid. Where was I? This one is powered because it's a condenser mic. And I got that to use it with the Zoom, because the Zoom has a powered microphone in socket, so you need what's called phantom power. So if it's got a red ring around it, it's powered. Now on that camera, it's powered. It's got a red ring around it. But for these things, the wireless transmitter receivers, they're generally not powered. So again, you've got to be careful what you buy. Now, I've been in touch with a well-known UK distributor of audio stuff, and they've tried to sell me stuff that is not compatible with this wireless ME because it's not a powered socket, even though I bought it from them. So the sales techs don't know the detail of it. There's a lot of detail in it, to be honest. So they've offered, I broke this microphone, a wire came off it. Now as it turns out, I got it apart and I sold it back together. So I'm fine. But I tried to buy a replacement, and I thought, well, rather than buying them off eBay for, pick a number, £5, I'd spend a bit more. And I went to this particular company, and one young lady tried to sell me 2 things which wouldn't work at all. And they've emailed me with another choice. One will probably work, and the other one I'm sure won't work because it's a condenser microphone, and I don't have a separate power injector. You can have a setup where you have another box that injects the power, but I haven't got that, let's leave that there. So, Garden Tractor Boy, I hope that helps. A lot of people record excellent videos, you know, for YouTube without any of this fancy gear. I can think of several people, if they've got this far in the video, I can think of several people, presenters who are going to go, what are you bothering with all that lot for? But when you do videos in your workshop, you've really got two hobbies, and the learning curve in the workshop and the learning curve on the video is just as much. It really is two hobbies. The other thing I'd say is recently on my editor, I've found a leveler, and now, you know, what it does is it compresses those high peaks, and you've got several settings on the leveler, and the one that works best is the preset for what they call party. So party is where you've got somebody's voice you're trying to pick up, but there's a babble going on in the background. So the party setting works well. The other settings, the other presets on that leveler don't work so well, because what happens is when you're not talking in here, which is very often, it brings the background up really high in the quiet spaces, because it thinks it should be listening for something, so to speak. But now I've got the party setting, it's going to save me a lot of work, I think. I've just remembered I said I would show you these. So those are the two Syncos. Been very good. For what I paid, I was very pleased with them actually. Then there's the Zoom. I do use this occasionally, but it would be if I want to pick up a noise, say there was a bearing noise or something like that, and I just wanted to put this down by the device that was, you know, rumbling away. It's quite good at picking that up. But then the audio, you know, normally I record all my audio on this video camera that I'm using now, so that the audio and the video are always in sync. But when you record with this, of course, then you've got to take that as a separate track and you've got to sync it up. This is getting quite long for a PS, isn't it? But never mind. Okay, so there's the powered cardioid condenser microphone. It's dual channel mono. So I've not found any of these lapel mics which are stereo. They're usually either single channel mono or dual channel mono. Right, and then this is the wireless ME. Make sure that's in shot. Yeah, fully digital transmission. Quite expensive, you know, but well worth it. I'm very pleased with these. And that's the box that came in. Okay, well I hope that was useful. Long answer to a short question. So anyway, Garden Tractor Boy, Joseph and Ian, I should say, Joseph and Dad Ian, and anybody else that's interested, I hope that was useful. Thanks for watching.